Hi, this is Kim with Kimberly Penning Hypnotherapy, and in this video I'm going to talk about how hypnotherapy can be such an effective tool for medical support and for the purposes of this video, more specifically for psoriasis. The reason I'm going to share about psoriasis is because I had a significant flare-up and I healed it with hypnotherapy and imagery and a lot of internal work. So I just so happened to have a very huge flare-up while I was at the Hypnotherapy Academy of America. The flare-up that I had was guttate psoriasis, so it was all over my body. It was like chicken pox. It was itchy and flaky and uncomfortable, and any blemish that I had on my body would turn into psoriasis. It was everywhere, and I had never had that happen before. And rewind a couple months before that, I got strep. And for those who have psoriasis know that when you get strep, it can really cause a flare up with your psoriasis. So I got strep, and the reason in my mind, because I'm very metaphysically minded, that I got strep is because something significant happened and I didn't speak up, and it involved my children, and I felt guilty about it, and then I got the worst strep of my life. So I think those two are related. And even while I had strep, I was like, I get it, okay, take it away. But so I got strep, and then I had this significant outbreak, and I was at the Hypnotherapy Academy. The Hypnotherapy Academy of America, it's 10 weeks. And it's very intensive. It's in person. There's coaches. You have all the peers there that are, learning together, and we're practicing with each other. We got to the medical support module, and our teacher went throughout the class and, was trying to see who had any medical issues that we could possibly work on. And he came around to me, and I'm like, I got psoriasis. And he was like, oh, that's a great one. We could really work on that. And I thought, oh, no, I have to talk about my stuff. I didn't want to, because I knew where it stemmed from, and it was heavy for me. I've had this all my life, and this flare-up in particular was heavy on me. So I didn't want to work on it, but I did anyway. So I got to not only have sessions within our group to practice, but because it was so heavy, I also had side personal sessions, so I wouldn't cry so much in my sessions with my peers, but I still did. And sometimes you really need that. So I was having these personal sessions, and I was also having these peer sessions. So I was having a lot of sessions at that time, and it was so incredibly healing. I can't even tell you how healing it was. So one of the most healing sessions that I had was a natal regression. And a natal regression is when you go back before you were even born, and you maybe you're with your guide, and trying to decide why you're even coming into this life with this family, and then what your parents are feeling about you coming in, and the whole during the pregnancy, and everything related to you coming into the world, and then how you come into the world. Was it C-section? Was it whatever it was? These all play such major factors in your life. And then talking about the relationship with your parents, and one of the metaphors that I had that was my aha moment. This was so significant to me, and it completely relates to having psoriasis. But my metaphor for my parents, and I'm sorry if my parents watch this, but I love you, and I'm so grateful for all my experiences. But my metaphor was that they're toxic, and I build a wall against, to protect myself. I was like, in building my wall, I'm like, oh, bricks and plaster and cement, and protect myself. And I love my parents, and I'm so grateful that I had the experiences I had, and I mean that. I really am so grateful for my experiences, and I've learned so much and get to be the person that I am because of them. And we did some, forgiveness work, because everybody is doing the best they can with the information that they have in the moment. And sometimes we don't all have the best tools. So brought in a lot of forgiveness, and that was one of the most healing sessions that I had. And I was given a lot of affirmations that I could work on. And that was with my personal sessions. And then with my teacher, or I'm sorry, a coach. So we were allowed to get a lot heavier in the peer groups. It's on light stuff, and you try not to get too heavy. So with my peers, we did a lot of healing imagery and some guide stuff, and we had so many great sessions. And I'm so grateful for the people that were in my group. If you ever watch this. So I had a very wonderful experience, but the most significant thing for me that really made the difference is something that everybody can easily do. My eye's a little watery. Is imagery. And the reason imagery is so effective is because imagery is the language of your subconscious. Whether you're visualizing something happen or something is happening in front of you, you're having the same physiological response. Your subconscious can't discern between, fact and fiction. Whether you're imagining it or it's happening, it's like it's happening. So I did a lot of imagery, and the imagery was removing the scales and healing the skin. And, I had this whole process, and I did it. I was supposed to do it 2 to 3 times a day, in the morning and the afternoon and at night, or in the morning and at night. But I did it a lot, because during that time, I was out doing this program by myself. I didn't have my kids. I had plenty of time to do this. And also, I can imagine my visualizations while I'm in class with my eyes open watching my instructor, and I did. And within 3 days of starting to use that imagery while I'm doing all this processing on this heavy emotional stuff, it cleared up. In 3 days, there was no flakiness on the little bumps all around my body. It was gone. I had it on both knees, both elbows, little dots everywhere, and the flakiness on all of them were gone. Was it gone completely? No, it was, flushed. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like flushed my skin. And it was red. And then by the time I got home from the training, it had turned white. And then a lot of those white areas have healed up all the way, but I still have a little bit of scarring. So the moral of that story was that I worked on my emotional connection and the negativity around the psoriasis. And so I was able to heal it on a really big level. And then I was also doing imagery, imagining, I'm done with this, I'm letting it go, that kind of stuff. And it was gone. I wish that I had taken a picture 3 days before and then, 3 days after, because it was absolutely significant. And if you would like to do any imagery and you just want imagery, you don't want to work on the heavy stuff, or you don't have access to somebody to do that with for hypnotherapy or a regular therapy session, if you want the imagery and you want me to make a video recording, I do customize recordings. So if you want to, you can reach out and we could talk about that. Or if you want to work on something heavy that has to do with any kind of medical issue, let me know and I can help you try to find somebody in your area. I don't do Zoom sessions. I do in-person hypnotherapy sessions. So I can help you find somebody. But imagery can be really, really powerful too on its own. I recommend You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. You can find that book on Amazon, or you can go to my website and go to book recommendations, and I have a link there as well. So even just doing the imagery can really have a significant impact on the psoriasis, but looking within yourself and healing, the root of that issue is really going to help you a lot as well. If you have any questions about any of that, please let me know, or if you want to know how you can heal your specific issue. I can help you. I can guide a little bit, even with if you're about to have a surgery or you just had a surgery. Hypnotherapy is really effective to accelerate healing or reduce anxiety for a upcoming procedure. It's really good for everything. But there's my example for psoriasis. That's all I got for you. Thank you for listening. And again, if you have any questions, just feel free to message me. Thank you.